All right, guys, welcome back. Boots come in pairs. It's been a full month of baseball now, and the Cubs are the best team in baseball. So there's a lot to talk about. We'll get into that. But before that, make sure you like, subscribe, follow our videos, give some engagement. That's been a lot of fun. So just get more involved in our channel. But yeah, talking about the Cubs, I think it's hard to not talk about the pace that they're on and not bring up Kyle Tucker and the impact he's brought and the calling for re-signing him. Jed made it, he's like, it's really hard to sign people mid-season. Okay. But every home run that he hits, especially at Wrigley, costs you more. So all of a sudden, I know there's injuries lying last year. That's why you didn't want to extend him before the season started. But man, is he going to make a lot of money. They're kind of banking on, is Wrigley Field going to draw him back in? Is the magic going to be there? I don't think you can rely on that. You need to give him the most money. Blank check, blank check, blank check. Sounds like they're open to that. What do you make of that first scenario with Kyle Tucker?
It is so fun to watch. I said it, I think, on the last show, just how much of an impact he makes on both sides of the baseball, and then just who he is, just spreads through the club, gives everyone more confidence. Not that these guys don't have confidence, but like when you have that lethal, dangerous bat in the lineup that they have been lacking for some time, it just makes everyone around him that much better. I look at how Seiya Suzuki's playing. He's probably playing the best on the team right now. He looks unbelievable. Beautiful swing. He's DH. He's not playing the outfield. He's doing such a nice job. I mean, PCA is, I think he just won NL Player of the Month, I'm pretty sure. Then you have like Ian Happ's playing really well, like really the whole lineup, and then everyone else is starting to get going too. Like Dansby has really stepped it up the last few games. He's starting to get back on track. Nico's having a really nice season. Michael Busch is having a really nice season. The Cubs catcher's position has been great. Carson Kelly and Miguel Amaya. They're just doing well, and I think a lot of it has to do with Tucker and that extra gas that he brings. That quiet, cool, just smooth confidence, that superstardom. I don't know if the Wrigley Magic will be enough to keep him here, but they got to pay up. They definitely have to pay up. This is what you want. This is the kind of guy that you need to build your team around. They have the right group right now.
He is what you want. He's a lefty power bat with plus defense. That's what you want to sign. That's what you want to build your organization on. He's young enough. I think he's 28, right? Like he's not like he's too old. Granted, I don't want to give him 14 years because I don't want to see him when he's 42. But like, give the guy 10 years and whatever amount of money he wants, right? We'll take that. You cannot let this guy leave. You cannot let this guy walk out of your building. He is the best available player. I think the Giants a couple years ago were close to getting Aaron Judge, or maybe the rumor of it. We don't know how close they were. That's a franchise-changing player. You currently have one in your building. You need to do whatever you can to keep him. So if that means, again, I don't blame him for wanting to go into free agency. I don't blame him for wanting to get the most money he possibly can. He's a phenomenal hitter. But if you're the Cubs, you need to do whatever you can to make him stay. And if that means be the highest bidder, be the highest bidder.
And it's like, what else are you looking for? Like who in the building right now besides him is a player that you want to build around? They don't have a superstar hitter in the minor leagues right now. I don't think so. So like if it's not him, who do you build around? They are not the same. They have not been the same team with the same core of players the last 3 or 4 years. This is a drastic improvement just overall, and it's the perfect storm. I mean, you're leading the league in runs scored, you're leading the league in stolen bases, you're amongst the top in total bases and OPS, like all the hitting stuff, all the base running stuff. You are at the top of the league. You haven't been here, and it's been almost 10 years since you've been here. Like that 2016 Cubs team was phenomenal.
That team is
This
wire to
reminds me a lot
wire,
of that
both
team.
sides of the ball. That's
Yes,
probably the one difference
yes,
is that both sides of the ball right now are not doing amazing.
they are not.
But yeah, this is one of the best. They're in every game, and
Yeah,
they took 2 out of 3 today from the Pirates. Didn't wasn't the 2 out of the 3 that I thought they were going to take, but still 2 out of 3 nonetheless.
right.
They've won every series except the Tokyo series and the Philly series this last weekend. So they've been in every series. They've been
Yeah.
in every game. You can't turn them off. The first game of the year that I did not watch was the 8-0 victory over the Pirates because they were already up 7-0, and I had no confidence that the Pirates were going to come back, even with the Cubs bullpen. So I'm engaged. I'm tuned in. Like, it's must-watch baseball, regardless of the score, if they're winning or losing. Honestly, so
And that's the cool thing, right?
yeah,
Especially like when they're down and they come back,
yep,
or if they're up and the bullpen blows it and then they come back. It's like you're the offense having this offense, they're never out of it.
nope,
But one thing I will say, and we all know this, they need to find some pitching. Um,
yep,
every both in the starting rotation and relief. Shota's pitching really well, and Matthew Boyd is pitching really well, and JMO is starting to pitch better. Colin Ray has been
Colin
a
Ray's been a pleasant
wonderful,
surprise. Yep,
wonderful surprise. He's throwing harder than he ever has.
yep,
He's really pitching into the defense. I'm I've been very impressed with him. I don't know how much longer he can sustain that, or maybe he'll just have a great year. He's built
you
up
know,
for this. He's kind of been that Swiss Army knife in his career, but they definitely need to add another starter. They definitely need to add more relievers. I do like
yeah,
them adding Cosgrove and adding Pomeranz, 2 lefty arms.
yep.
It's great. It's great to see.
I saw Pomeranz pitch for the first time last night or the night before. He threw 94, which
Yeah,
I didn't know was in his repertoire.
yeah,
Maybe that's. I mean, he also works really fast. He
yeah.
gets the ball and throws it. He's also got nothing to lose. He's 30 something years old, right? 36
He's
maybe.
36.
I mean, if he's a guy that can solve a couple innings for you, all you need is people to eat
Right,
up innings. You don't need.
right,
And at this stage of the season, you're not going to be getting back end of the bullpen pieces. You're not going to be getting front end of the rotation pieces. So how can you
right,
piece together from now until the trade deadline? That's what I have to figure out.
right.
We are marked safe from trading for Sandy Alcantara, who has not pitched
No,
well, but he's coming
no.
off injury. So
Yeah.
there's
The
certain
only the only guy I would consider, and like even back end of the bullpen, Ryan Presley's been pitching really well.
Ryan Stressley has
He's
been less
he's
Stressley
he's
lately. Yeah,
he's been he looks like he's starting to get a feel for it. He's confident.
yep,
I like what I've been seeing from Daniel Palencia too. He's been
yeah,
pitching really well, throwing hard. I'm sure Porter Hodge will get his ERA down. I'm sure they'll start to figure it out. But like maybe some like middle tier relievers, guys who can throw strikes and give up do an extended relief outing. As far as starting pitchers are concerned, the Central is starting to heat up a little bit, and the Twins, if they start to fall behind, Pablo Lopez could be a nice guy and
yeah.
not giving up a ton. I mean, even if you gave up Alcantara, like I wouldn't be too. There's no space for him, especially if you're planning on signing Tucker. If you can trade like Alcantara, and you could even trade Casey too. I don't. I think Ballesteros is probably the best bat in the system right now.
Yeah, and actually, Council was talking about Ballesteros today, and he goes, "There's no room for him right now.
No,
He hasn't played third base, which is the biggest thing.
right,
And that's probably the most glaring thing about this whole thing. The Cubs are on a tear, and they're playing phenomenal baseball. They're the best team in baseball. They have a chance to win their 20th game of the season tomorrow,
yeah,
right? They're doing all this without a third baseman. It's wild. I mean,
right.
Birdie is probably the best one on the roster right now.
He's starting to play well.
No,
I mean, he's starting to feel this position.
He's a gritty
He's hitting
player.
he's hitting 306. He
Yeah,
can run. Like he can steal bases.
he's
Like he fits the mold.
he
If he can hold down the defense and hit a little
yeah.
bit, that might be what they need right now.
He is that super utility guy. He's shown that. He's led the league in steals when he was with the Marlins, right?
Yeah.
He's a gritty contact guy. However, they still need a third baseman. And it's just wild to
They
me
do.
that they've gotten this far with this offense, as prolific as it's been, without a third baseman. It makes you kind of forget about it a couple times, but um, yeah, Matt Shaw went down to AAA, didn't hit right away. He's starting to hit a little bit now, but
Yeah, I mean he has a like a 950 OPS. Like he's
yeah,
hitting. He's hitting 325 already. Like
okay, he's up then,
he's
because
he's up, man. He's
yeah,
up.
so that might be their holdout. But yeah, until the trade deadline, you're
Yeah,
kind of looking internally. So it might be John Birdie and maybe Matt Shaw when he gets back. That's
right,
what we're looking at until some teams are out of it and looking to deal. Could
right,
be an Arenado, could be a Devers, could be who knows. But
right,
we'll see if they're willing and able to make those moves with the prospects they have, because they're not going to play at the major league level.
right,
You've got all
right.
those positions filled.
Yeah, I was messaging with Kyle Stanley a little bit about Bregman and for
Hmm.
him, and I totally understand this. Just the AAV, like how much he's getting per year. It's like,
Yep.
well, is he a $40 million a year player? No, but 120 million is a lot less than like 350 million.
For three
So
years.
3
Yeah.
years, he's tearing the cover off the ball.
Yep.
That would they would be on a different level if they had Bregman right now, but it,
Yep.
it wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. And they're still where they're at, top of the division, one of the best teams in baseball.
Yep.
It's fun.
Yep. PCA has been the other breakout star. He's
Yeah,
cooled off the last couple of games. I feel like the offense has cooled off a little bit towards the end of the Philly series, but they were on a torrid pace. You couldn't keep that up. They're still scoring runs. They're still finding ways to get runs in, but PCA is exceeding the Fangraph expectation or whatever that you pulled the numbers
yeah,
from. That's way off because he's already his OPS is through the roof. He's stealing bases. He's doing all the little things. Again, when he's not getting on base like the last couple of days, it's like, okay, maybe he needs to do some more little things. But you don't want to change really anything he's doing right now. He's
no,
fielding his position very well. So the emergence of his caliber, I don't think he's. There's been a little bit of discussion around like, oh, is he an MVP candidate? I don't think so. I
no,
don't think he's going to hit enough for that. But he
no.
certainly is exceeding my expectations at the plate.
I mean, I think potential all star,
Yeah.
and definitely if he's hitting, he's going to field this position. He'll definitely be a Gold Glover too. Um,
Yes.
I just yeah, the biggest thing is just keep doing what you're doing. I think he has like 10 or 11 doubles already. He's got six
Yep.
bombs. I think the fan graphs was like it was like
10.
10
Yeah.
homers and like 40 RBIs. He already has six homers and 21 RBIs. He's already stolen 13 bases. Like he's doing really well. Just again, just hit it, drive the ball wherever it is. He's shown that he has a lot of power. He can hit it a long way, but use those wheels. The
Yeah.
wheels are lethal.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a tool that not a lot of people have.
Yeah. And that's the only thing with him because he is a good hitter. He's shown that at AAA. He's shown a little bit now at the major league level. When you are that fast and you start to swing up and hit the ball in the air, and that ball's not going out, all of a sudden, that again, if you hit a single, you turn it into a triple. We've seen that already.
Yeah,
But if you're hitting the ball in the air, it has the possibility of being caught. So if he's not hitting the ball out of the yard, hopefully he can hit down up. But I mean, he's hitting the ball everywhere, so it's hard to be critical
yeah.
of anything he's doing. That's my only fear with the speed guy is when you start hitting too many home runs, you start to angle up, and then the ball just goes up in the air, and then you're not putting your wheels to use. But
Yeah. It's great to see though. It's
mm-hmm.
great to see
Yep.
him succeeding, having fun. He's very much like a spark plug, a
Yep.
very relaxed guy. Loves being at Wrigley. Loves playing for this team. Um, we were talking about at the beginning of the season that we thought that this might be his breakout year, and
Yeah.
it's seeming to be so far.
He's a game wrecker. Absolutely. I mean, everything. It's similar to Tucker. Just everything he does, everything he touches, just changes the way you think, changes the way third basemen field the ball on him because they got to speed it up. Changes the way outfielders throw the ball in because they have to be ready for him to go. Pitchers have been more aggressive trying to pick him off because they know he's trying to steal. So yeah, it just changes the whole dynamic, and it puts a guy in scoring position almost every time when he's getting on base. So
Mhm.
yeah, very very good. Yeah, I said the bullpen. feel like that's a nightly battle. We're just gonna have to slug our way through it.
Hmm.
But it's hard to argue with a team that's 19 and 13, 6 games over 500, and a couple games up in the division already. So
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. And I mean, like we were talking about before, I mean, Cosgrove is a nice addition. Hopefully he can
mhm.
keep it up. Same with Pomeranz. Tyson Miller is really close to coming back. That'll be another solid arm. Whatever you can do to get
Yeah,
consistent guys in there who can get outs and not walk people, because that's
yeah,
been another problem with their team is walking people, free
yeah.
passes. That's not a that's it's tough when you have a defense like they have. You can erase a lot of those mistakes, but at the same time, you don't want to be giving people free
Well, and
passes.
Julian Merriweather has kind of been he's been the solution and the problem. One of those
Right.
guys because one night he comes out and he's lights out. The next day he
Yeah.
comes out, he walks 3 batters in a row. But that's coming off injury. I kind of expect that. I expect him not to be consistent because he's still trying to work his way back. He missed all of last year. So even Tyson Miller coming back, I don't expect him to be dazzling, right? Because he's coming off an
Right.
injury. Like we don't know what to expect. But I think it really is those deadline moves when you get teams with closers or high leverage guys that are kind of shedding them. What does that look like? Um, Another thing with this Cubs start too is they've had the most difficult schedule in baseball, and
Hmm.
they've survived it. And as we've
Yep.
shown too, they've been thriving in that. Um, Going into this, I think we were kind of talking like, oh, if they survive April going 500 or a couple games under, I'd be really pleased with that. Well, here we are, first
Yeah.
day of May, and they are 6 games over. Can't
Hmm.
complain. They played the best teams, and we don't have to see the Dodgers anymore. Thank you. Done with them.
Right.
Um,
Right. And I don't want to speak too soon as far as the tough months being over. I mean, the beginning of this month after this Pirate series is pretty tough as well. They head to Milwaukee. They play San Francisco. They play the Mets. That's the first three teams
that's
in
gonna
this
be really
next
good.
little stretch. They do play the Reds a couple times. The Reds have been playing pretty good baseball. They have one of the best pitchers in baseball in Hunter Green. They're
Yep.
starting to score some runs. They have some really exciting players. A lot of their additions are playing well. You do have
Well, they
that
were
little
scoring runs
Oreo
till
cookie.
yesterday. They got swept on a
Right,
doubleheader yesterday, scoring two total runs. So,
right.
yeah.
Right, but you got that little Oreo cookie in the middle, playing the Marlins twice, and then the White Sox smashed in between them. So
Huh.
there's a potential to win some games.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just got to keep doing what they're doing, and keep winning series. Take it game by game or series by series. It always seems to be a good remedy, a good way to go about it. But yeah,
Yep.
just want the offense to keep going, see some consistent pitching. Hopefully Ben Brown can figure it out too because they really need him.
Yeah.
They really need him to step up.
They need some longevity out of him because he's getting to about the fourth inning, the second time through that order, and that's when the wheels kind of fall off. Like he's been clean, 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 and then all of a sudden he just kind of loses it. It's very quick. That also puts a lot of stress on a bullpen too. That
It
messes
does.
up, the next 2 days, honestly. So he needs to go out there and be more effective. Otherwise, I could see him being like, because he has short stints, has been really good. He has
Yeah.
good stuff. We've seen that.
Yeah.
But maybe for this current team that's ready to win, he might benefit you better out of the bullpen, which is
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
possible.
Then they really do have to go get another arm because I'm not sure what's like
Yeah.
Cade Horton as well as he's pitching. He's doing exceptionally well,
Yeah.
but like he can't give you these innings that you
No.
need.
Right.
They did just sign Chris Flexen a few days ago,
Okay.
or I mean it's probably a couple of weeks ago actually. He's started at the major league level. Not hasn't been great, but it's a guy who's pitched in the majors before. Really don't want to see Jordan Wicks again for a while. They just got. I think it's going to come down to trading somebody for
Yeah.
somebody. They're going to have to.
You know who
I
is
just think
pitching well for the Rangers, who was floated at the Cubs, and you're kind of like laughing at it, like why would they sign this guy? Patrick Corbin has been pitching very well.
has
Um,
he
yeah, he's got a sub 3 ERA.
really
Yeah, he's putting up good innings for them. Um,
interesting.
but we're used to seeing Patrick Corbin. I mean, 2019 he was lights out, and then signed a big contract with the Nationals and pitched horribly the last five
Yeah,
years. But
He was like every other year. It's like he pitched, he
yeah,
found it, and then he lost it, then he found it again, then he lost it again.
he has pitched well, and so has Jose Quintana, who was readily
He's pitched,
available. So,
yeah,
but that's kind of the guys that you're looking at right now. So if you're not willing to take a chance and kick the tires on them, like a Drew Pomeranz,
hmm,
the trades kind of just aren't there. So,
right.
but anyways, other teams playing well. I think you had a couple more than me, so I'll let you go first in terms of just overall what you're viewing. I'm watching a lot of Cubs, so that's also hard.
Right.
But I have a team in mind that I've been paying attention to.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the usual suspects, Yankees, Dodgers, like, or pretty much the entire West, um, that's kind of goes without saying. But uh, a few teams that I have noticed because I botch score watch every day, whether I'm watching the actual game or not, but just paying attention to what people are doing. Um, the Tigers, Mets, and Mariners are
Yeah,
all
the Mets are
doing
playing really well.
exceptionally well, and a lot of it has to do with their starting staffs. It like the Tigers. I mean, they're five deep. I mean, Scoobs, Flaherty, Jackson Jobe, the young rookie. Who else? Reese Olson's pitching really well.
Yeah. Well,
Casey Mize is finally pitching like the number one overall
yeah.
pick. I mean, he's got the best ERA on that whole staff, so it's like they're pitching really well. And then the Mets, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, Kodai Senga,
Clay Holmes,
Ty- Clay Holmes is
version
fabulous.
3 closer.
Fabulous start to the road. Yeah, fabulous start to his time in the rotation. Tyler McGill's pitching really well, and then Seattle's obviously got their horses
Best
Miller
rotation in
and
baseball
Gilbert,
last year. Yep.
and they don't even have George Kirby back yet, which I believe he's starting a rehab very soon. But all three of those teams, like the starting pitching has really been strong and led them. And then just having a couple of sweet bats in there, like Spencer Torkelson has really had a reemergence. Very happy to see him doing well. Obviously, like Kerry Carpenter
Yep.
is pretty solid. Riley Green starting to hit. Javi Baez is hitting.
I was gonna
Javi
say,
Baez is hitting.
the biggest difference maker for me for the Tigers is having Javi Baez be not a gimmick, and
Yeah,
not, like he's hitting upper 200s. Hit his first
yeah,
home run of the season a couple days ago. Like that's been a missing piece of his game that was huge when he was at Wrigley. Um,
yeah.
the defense, he's playing center field some days. He's
Right,
playing third base. And those are
right,
the kind of things that made him such a great player when he first came up was like third, second, short, whatever you need, like he's the guy. And then he
right.
settled in that shortstop role and all of a sudden it's like he just lost it. So I
Yeah,
think
and
that's a
I think
fun.
I think he'll still end up being the shortstop. I mean, Trey Sweeney's young, but he's already made five errors, and like
Yeah.
Javi Baez is his calling card is his defense, and he was not slacking there. Like the defense was not the
Well,
problem with him. It was just the
you can say it was his thing. I don't know
yeah,
if it still was because Javi was also making errors lately. So
right.
you also have Zach McKinstry, who's been
He's
hitting
playing
really
very
well.
well. Yeah,
Um,
McKinstry's playing really
don't know
well.
why he couldn't have done that with the Cubs, but he just
Right.
couldn't figure it out yet. So he's getting a good
Yeah,
chance there. Yeah, Riley Green's been. I mean, you
he's
got
been catching fire. Yeah,
you paid Javi Baez a lot of money to be there and be a piece and be a guy, and he wasn't even on the postseason roster last year. So for him to be even close to what he was even 2 3 years ago with the Tigers when he first got there, that's what you need. You're paying
right.
him enough for it. Like he needs to be a guy. Yeah, like I said, their staff is good enough.
Right. They
So
have a
yeah,
great starting staff, and then like four or five relievers are just absolutely shut down. Like they are very strong on the pitching end of things, and if they can figure out how to score enough runs, I mean, the Central is very good. Uh, the Royals have won quite a bit. I think they're 9-1 in their last 10. They're starting to surge a little bit. Cleveland's always there. Those are kind of the top
yeah,
three.
yep,
Um, but yeah, I mean, the Tigers are right in the mix. They're leading the division, and I expect them to continue to do that.
yep.
Getting back to the Mets a little bit, Pete Alonso is having an
Pete Alonso's
incredible
having a
season.
great start to
Pete
his year.
Alonso is doing exactly what they need him to do, and he's
Yep.
showing like he loves being a Met. It's
I
great to see him. Great clubhouse guy. I'm watching some of these defensive plays he's making too. He's
yeah.
so good. He's worked so hard on his defense.
I didn't know if he, and again, I know it's only been a month, but I didn't know if he had this kind of stretch in him
Yeah.
again because
Well, we haven't
he's
seen it
no,
in a couple years.
he's been hovering in the low 200s batting. The
Yeah.
power is always there, but the last 3 years plus has been well below his career averages. And I just didn't know
Yeah.
if he was even seeing his average in the 340s, even for a
Yeah.
month, is incredible
It's
turnaround.
incredible.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, he wants to be there. I think the playoffs last year gave him a resurgence,
Hmm.
but it's cool to see that carry over because he's a good hitter, and he's a great defensive player. But yeah, just to see that click, see him get paid. He probably lost some money by his performance before that, but yeah,
Hmm.
like I said, the Mets are playing well. Juan Soto's not even playing that well, but
He's really
you
not.
know,
No,
he's
no.
a guy that
It's
I'd
really
want. But
right. Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor. Like Frankie's playing really well. Is also playing awesome defense
yeah,
too. Yeah, offense. He's hovering around 300, 800 plus OPS, getting it done. But yeah, Soto's really not playing that well. I mean, he's not really. I mean, he's walking. He's hitting a few home runs here and there, but
yeah,
yeah, he's really not. But the thing is, it's like they're doing. I think they lead baseball in wins, and he's not even close to what he's going to be yet. Like
yeah,
when he starts heating up, like
yeah.
that's when they're going to be dangerous. But like even like Brandon Nimmo, aside from his nine
Yes,
RBI game the other day, I mean, he's not really hitting.
no,
Mark Vientos is having a sophomore slump
yeah,
type
under
season.
200. Yeah,
Yeah, so they're not really as a team on offense. Um, they're not really hitting on all cylinders yet. It's really just that pitching staff. Like all five of their starters are superb.
yes, yeah.
They're performing like that. And then the Mariners, um, they're actually hitting. I think they're third in baseball in home runs.
I mean, for that pitching staff, all you got to do is hit a little bit,
Right.
and they'll get you there. I mean,
Right. But I mean, yeah, I mean, Cal Raleigh already has 10 bombs.
yeah,
Dylan Moore is doing really well in like a
he
utility
just he
role.
just went on the IL, but
Right. Jorge Polanco is having a great start to the season. He's hitting like 346.
mhm.
His OPS is I believe it's like 1100 or something like that. At least I think
I think he just came
saw in
back
the
though.
box score.
So
He's played like 25 or 26 games.
okay,
Polanco's been playing the whole season.
okay,
And then JP Crawford's playing really well too. But
mhm.
yeah, I mean, with that, like you were saying, with that pitching staff, all you got to do is hit a little bit, and then
Yeah,
you get late into the game, and Andres Munoz is nasty. Like
mhm.
he's a really great closer. I think he's got 11 saves already. Hasn't given up a run yet. His WHIP is like .73 or something, like ridiculous. And then they're also getting Matt Brash back, who's a really big reliever for them. He has like the nastiest slider in baseball. He's coming off Tommy John, and he should be back this weekend. So,
Mhm.
yeah, the Mariners are. I've always had a soft spot for them. They're a very likable team. It's
Yeah,
nice to see a different team doing well in the West. Like we had to watch the Astros rule for a while, so it's good to see some of these
yeah.
other teams emerging.
Astros have been
It's fun.
scuffling. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Who do you
team that
got? How about yeah?
the one team because you're hitting on all the teams. The one team that I've been noticing, and their record doesn't necessarily say that they are an exciting team, but they are because I think they're ahead of schedule. The Nationals have a
Yeah.
ton. I mean, talk about let the kids play. They have a ton of young talent, but they're also playing really well. CJ Abrams is back. He went from
Hmm.
first to home on a ground ball to walk off the
Yep.
Mets. I'm glad he got out of the casino, and he's
Yeah.
back into the lineup. But he was flying, and he kind of
He's
stutter
so
stepped around second and still made it home.
he's
James
so
Wood,
talented. He's
yeah,
so talented.
James Wood has been
Oh
exciting to,
man.
to watch. Dylan Cruz is struggling, but they're letting him play through it, and he's gonna be a good player.
Right.
But yeah, I just think that they're a fun team to watch. Again, their record doesn't really say that they're a great team, but
Right.
I think it's a team that's maybe 2-3 years away from competing. But they have a lot of young kids. Um, it's what you want to see if you're a rebuilding organization, and I think they're having more success than they maybe thought they would at this point.
Yeah, and I think I'm pretty sure their second baseman, his name is Luis Garcia. He's 24. He's really a nice piece, both sides of the ball. Um, I'm trying to think. Kyber Ruiz, their catcher,
Yes,
is
yeah,
very, very
yep, he's
good.
having a good start.
Um, yeah, I think their biggest issue is just pitching. I think if they had better pitching,
Yeah,
they would probably. Oh, Alex Call's another guy, another young kid for them
yeah.
who
They
is
kind
pretty
of
solid.
well, and why I think I like them, why I'm gravitating towards them, is they kind of remind me of the Cubs because that's kind of how the Cubs built their team. Is like, let's get all the hitters, and then we can put pitching together later.
Yeah,
So that's kind of the model they're taking, and
yeah.
we'll see what comes of it. I mean, that's a tough division to be
The
in.
East is tough.
You got the Phillies, you got the Mets, you got some. It's not easy. Um, but they could be competing for a wild card slot in about 2-3 years. I could see that they add some good arms, get some deals on some guys. They've
Yeah.
shown they're willing to spend. They won a World Series in the last 10
Yep.
years, so you know that is my one to watch. What about teams that are underperforming? I know we just hit on the Astros a little bit, um, but there's a couple teams besides the Braves. I'm not going to rat on them anymore. Um,
And they're playing better.
yeah,
They're playing a lot better. They're starting to get healthy. They're like 14 and 16.
yeah,
I checked the standings. Teams that are not performing as well.
yeah. Well, the biggest one for me, I guess, because I don't want to put you on the spot. The biggest one for me is Baltimore. The Orioles
Yeah, yeah.
they have all the talent in the world. They have all the kids. Um, they just aren't playing well, and they're not hitting. And everyone's
No,
there. Gunnar just got back. Rushman's hitting like 209. I know that was my preseason pick at catcher. He is not performed like, and he's still a good hitter. All these guys are good hitters. Mountcastle's not hitting great. They have a surplus of talent, but it's just not coming together. And I thought they were knocking on the door the last 2 years
right,
for potential World Series, but it's not starting out well this year.
right. Holiday's not hitting either.
No, he's continued to struggle.
Yeah, and even the other young guy like Heston Kierstad, like really the only guy who's hitting, I think, is Cedric Mullins. He's the only guy.
Cedric Mullins
And then
and O'Hearn is hitting okay, but
and
he's not
O'Haron,
playing
yeah,
every day.
right. And
So
he won't
no,
because they have a lot of. I think he's more of a situational guy. And what's funny is that uh, like Kyle Stowers and Connor Norby are doing really well for the Marlins. They traded him for a starting pitcher. I think it was, oh my gosh, Taylor Rogers, I believe.
sure, yeah,
But Norby and Stowers were two of the top prospects in the system, and they traded him
yeah. The
for a
Marlins
starter. And
are
those two are
gritty.
playing
They're not a
right.
pushover team. So
Right, but those two are playing really well. It's just funny to see guys who are blocked, if you want to call it that, like they go
yeah,
somewhere else and they're just playing really well. But didn't Baltimore have like a ownership change or something, or a GM? Something
I
happened,
don't know. Yeah,
but like I think like number one was like they should have not let Corbin Burns walk out of the building. That was
yeah.
kind of ridiculous.
You know what? Yes and no, because yeah, you want Corbin Burns because he has been a bulldog the last couple of years, but this seems like more of a daily lineup issue where they're
Yeah,
just not scoring any runs.
right.
So like the pitching staff, I know it's like okay, you let up 7 runs, you only scored two. Like yeah, that's a little bit of a pitching problem, but usually two's not going to get it done anyways,
No,
and they're struggling to
no,
get to two.
right.
So I view it as more of a lineup issue, and maybe it's short term. Maybe they turn around. It's season still young. They have a lot of good young talent still,
Yeah.
but it's just surprising to see them kind of slide down in a really competitive AL East.
Yeah,
You're not
it's
going to,
not.
you know,
It's definitely not getting any easier.
yeah,
You have like the Yankees. The Yankees are figuring it out. Like
yeah.
I feel like not having Juan Soto is not affecting them as much. Rice is really stepping up for them. Not
Oh, he's
sure
been
how long
great.
he's.
Yeah, Rice has been
I
phenomenal.
mean, it might be lightning in a bottle with him, but like Aaron Judge is the
Yeah,
reigning AL MVP.
Jason
Like you got
Jason
enough
Dominguez is
offense.
playing well. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and you have enough pitching. Like Max Fried was a really great signing.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
he's been
he's been
up there
lights
with
out.
Hunter Green as one of the best pitchers to start.
Right,
There's also
right.
there's a side nugget with the Yankees that I don't want to overlook. I know we kind of keep the funny, lighthearted stuff till the end. If you're not following this account, you need to follow it. Um, Austin Wells, as we know, the Yankees catcher.
Okay.
Great mustache. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No, I don't. Not at
Okay.
all.
Austin Wells has an Instagram account, and it is called Wells Ranks Burritos.
Okay.
And all he does, the only thing he posts when they go from city to city is breakfast burritos. And it is
Okay.
a picture of, usually it's a picture of him holding said burrito with his mustache. And then a second picture with the burrito with a like paragraph long description of why this burrito is ranked whatever out of 100.
That's funny.
And he literally, like, he doesn't post every day because they don't go to a new city every day. He doesn't have time either because he's a Major League Baseball player, but it's just like, oh, I was in Pittsburgh today. And it's chorizo and egg burritos. That's the standard. It's like Dave Portnoy with his cheese pizza. But
Yeah.
he's not sarcastic about it. There's no video. It's literally just two pictures with a paragraph long thing saying why this burrito was good or
I'll have to
bad.
check that out.
So yeah, Wells ranked burritos. I know he's a Yankee catcher. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so national treasure there.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
And the mustache just kills me too.
It
But
is.
yeah, the Orioles are not catching up. I mean, the Blue Jays are playing better than they were last year. Not playing
Right.
great, but they're playing
No.
better. So now you have three teams in front of you. The Rays are playing better than they were last year. So now you have four teams ahead of you.
Yeah.
Not looking very great, right? Right.
Yeah.
So usually one team might collapse, but not four.
Yeah. I would say a team for me, and I don't want to say that they're not playing well, but they could be playing better. I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with the Cardinals because we were sort of like optimistic about them in the offseason,
Was I?
and I
Who
don't
was
know. I
optimistic about the
remember
Cardinals?
I remember talking about them and just like, all right, well, they have this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and they have all these arms and they're just really not playing that well. They started out okay, but
I don't remember talking about them like I was expecting them to do. Like, if we were having this segment right here and going like, who's playing really bad? The Rockies. Well, no, I expected the Rockies to be
right.
one of the worst teams in baseball and possibly one of the worst teams ever. They're on pace to beat the White Sox record from last year. I feel like the Cardinals are playing to their ability.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to really compete this year. I was kind of confused they didn't move Arenado in the
Yeah.
offseason. And he's responded. He's playing well. I think they move him at the deadline.
Yeah.
But this Cardinals roster is kind of the same, if not less than last year. They got rid of Lance Lynn. They got rid of Kyle Gibson, right? And those guys aren't pitching well elsewhere,
No.
I-
But I don't know. I just
right?
thought
Like,
like at least at the start of the season, like I don't know, Jordan Walker was hitting and
yeah,
Donovan was hitting. Like they had a lot of guys who were hitting. I mean, of course, like you move Paul, on from Paul Goldschmidt and he's doing what he's doing in New York. Like that's
yeah.
pretty crazy.
Mason
But I don't
Mason
know.
Wynn's playing well, you know. But they're still the same team they were last year, and still kind
Right.
of in no man's land. You're not rebuilding, but you're not full on going for it. So
Right.
it's weird. Again, I'm not complaining that the Cardinals aren't playing, better, but like it's weird to see them in flux.
Right.
And it'll be we'll kind of pick Jeremy's brain this weekend about that, so we're gonna
Yeah.
go to the game with him. But
For
um,
sure.
I it'll be interesting to see what his expectations were and if he agrees that like they're kind of playing to what they're capable of, which is what I
Hmm.
same with the Brewers. Like the Brewers are close to 500. I feel like the Brewers have way overachieved the last 4 or 5 years because they don't sign
Right.
anybody. They get no talent.
No.
They bring it all up through the farm system, which is fine. That's what the Rays do. But even the talent they're bringing up is sometimes overplaying. It's just they're
Right.
getting the max out of every player, and it's not
Yeah.
happening this year as much because like Joey Ortiz isn't playing well. They have this kid playing third base, Durbin, who's way overachieving, and they're still not winning a ton of games. It's just at some point it's going to catch up to you. I don't feel like
Yeah.
the Cardinals did enough this offseason to make you think they were going to be better.
Yeah. Well, it would speaking of the Brewers, it would be nice to see the Cubs smack them around this weekend. Like
That
that is what is needed. I can't remember
yes.
the last time I saw a Cubs victory at Miller Park. It might have been my bachelor
Yeah,
party.
I think I agree.
Um,
It was probably
which was
2017 is the last time.
20 it was yeah, too long
You know
ago.
what?
So,
Actually, I went to one a couple of years ago, but I'm obviously closer in proximity to Milwaukee, so I go to most of the series up here, so I'm more likely to see it. But yeah, anytime we go on a big game or a weekend game, it seems like they've been getting
yeah.
sloshed because the Brewers have had
Yeah,
their number. But yeah,
for
that'll
sure.
that'll be hopefully fun. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. The Dodgers have had a ton of arm injuries. I remember at the beginning of the year there was a graphic about how this is the best rotation ever assembled in the history of baseball. Can you imagine? Well, not so much. Shohei Ohtani is still on the shelf. He's still working back from his injury, so he's obviously not available. Glass now has now gone out. He pitched 2 innings the other day and then left the game. Blake Snell is out. Kershaw is still working back from injury. Trinan's gone out. Kopech is still not started his season. Um, I think Gratterall is still out, right?
Hmm.
So they have a ton of arm issues. They kind of had this last year too, and we get to have fun with them because they spend all this money. Um, I wonder if you did the math, how much money they have spent on the IL right now, just in their pitching staff. Um, do we feel bad? No.
No.
Um, their bats are kind of not hitting well either. So yeah, it's just the Dodgers are kind of in this weird spot where they're gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna be a good team. Does any of this matter? I guess is the question.
Yeah, I mean they're just gonna have to figure it out. Nobody feels bad for them at all. The crazy thing is that most of these injuries of these pitchers are like shoulder and forearm, which is typically not good.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd rather it be like a lat or an oblique because at least that like shoulder and forearm and elbow stuff
Yep.
is just no good.
No.
Um, so yeah, I mean they're down quite a few starting pitchers, a couple of their best relievers, but they have five or six more in the chamber who are stellar. I kind of looked at their like stats today, and like they are taxing. Like there's a lot of guys. There's probably three or four guys who have like 13, 14, 15 appearances already. And you're just
Yes.
going to waste them. I mean, they're going to be very tired at the end of the season. They're going to be overworked if they don't figure out how to get some innings out of some people. Um, just got Gonsolin back. He's been out since 2023. He had an all-star season in 2023, missed all of last year. Yo Yamamoto is unreal. He is one of the best in baseball. I think he has like a 106 ERA, ridiculous. Sasaki is kind of
It's been walking a lot of
dipping his.
people.
He's
Yeah.
been walking a lot of people. I believe he's got like 20 strikeouts and 18 walks or something like that. So you need
Yeah.
to find the strike zone a little bit more. He's kind of getting used to the game over here, though. I don't
Yeah.
expect him to be down for a long time. I expect him to figure out, or maybe he
Yeah.
won't.
Well,
Dustin May has been back. He's pitching pretty well. But yeah, they gotta find some innings.
well,
But
two
we
of
don't feel bad for them.
no, two of those three. So yeah, Gonsolin just coming back, but Yamamoto and May also did not pitch full seasons last year.
Right,
So you kind of are a little cautious with how much are they going to give me
right,
because they just don't have the innings on them, right? Like they don't
right.
have the track record of
But
being
May,
healthy.
but May is coming off an injury. Yamamoto is just coming off of a year where he was. I mean, last year was his first year,
Yeah,
and he's not
he was
been
hurt for
a little
a
bit.
little bit in the second half last year though, so he didn't pitch a full season. But that's what I'm saying
Right,
is wire to wire. Right now, your workhorse is Yamamoto, and
right.
it's an unproven
It's unproven.
if he can get there. And then even Otani coming off his second Tommy John, right? I mean, what is he going to be? Is he going to be? We know he throws hard, but we've also seen him. And again, the Angel uniform, the Angel stink there, whatever you want to call it. He was. You could hit him.
You
Like
could,
he threw hard, but the ball also go in fast, go out fast. Like right, like
yeah. I
you
mean,
know,
he was a solid. He's a solid pitcher. Like
yeah.
he's a solid pitcher. You can't deny it. I mean, he's
In
got
sh-
a pretty nice arsenal.
yeah,
Um,
in short bursts though, like because everyone likes to go back to the World Baseball Classic. Yes, when you're okay, put him in the World Series, put him as your closer. That's fine. stretch him out over 32 starts, he's gonna have
Yeah,
his ups and downs, right? He's a little
right,
more in like he's not as invincible. So,
right.
um,
And the bat's going to suffer if you do that to him.
and it will suffer.
And
Yeah,
I don't think that's his best. His best tool is not his arm, his pitching arm. Like
right.
it's a plus, but it's not why you paid him all that money.
Yeah, I'll keep beating that drum till proven otherwise. And I think when he does start to pitch, probably in like what early June, you'll start to see the dip. You'll because it's just gonna happen. You know, he's gonna be a little more
Right.
fatigued. He did it for 5 years already. Like we've seen the numbers kind of go and do what they did.
Yeah.
Another
They're
guy
never
that's
the thing is they're never going to be far enough out of it. Like
no,
they're always going to be near the top of the division. Their offense is going to be able to get them through some stuff. Their bullpen's going to be able to get them through some stuff.
yeah,
So they could probably just take their time with Otani. They don't need to
yeah.
rely on him. They'll figure something out. They'll trade someone somehow. Despite all this, they still have one of the best farm systems in baseball. So they could trade a couple guys if they wanted to and get a stud. They could do that, and they
I mean, you
probably
know
will
why?
do
I
that.
mean, you know why they have the best far because they don't use any of those guys. They never
Right.
need to bring them up. Then they turn 26, they rule five or whatever. I mean, Michael Bush is a phenomenal infielder. The
Mm-hmm.
bat tool again. He goes in waves. He's really streaky. Right now he's up. He's going to be about a 250 hitter. He's going to hit a couple homers, but his glove, like just to be able to transition to first base, but that shows you, like, I mean, these guys are blocked in their AAA and they're just sitting there
Mm-hmm.
waiting for their chance. They have other teams would be like, oh, James Outman, 2 years ago he's starting, now he's back in AAA, but like they would die for a guy like that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
just give us a chance. Vargas is now with the White Sox, not playing well, but he had a 3-run homer today versus the Brewers. Apparently, he kills
Mm-hmm.
the Brewers. But like, these are guys just sitting there that are never going to play for the Dodgers, and they know that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. Alex Verdugo was another guy.
yeah, again they sit and wait, and but some team will take a haul for their
Mm-hmm.
pitcher, their closer, whatever it is.
Right.
One guy, and you kind of have a little more insight on the actual context around the conversation, but I'm aware of, you know, the steep decline that Julio Rodriguez has been on. We talked a little bit about the Mariners playing better as a team, but I feel like since his rookie year, the numbers would support that J Rod is just not as prolific a player as he showed when he first came out. Again, the physical ability is there. He's a huge center fielder. He covers a lot of ground, but he has not been able to recreate the hitting success that he had initially.
Right.
So, what was the question with him overall
Yeah.
from that
So
podcast you
what
listened
I
to? Or
yeah. So what I saw. Everybody knows who Steve Phillips is. MLB personality, former GM, front office guy. Very intelligent, very insightful. Loved hearing him talk on ESPN or any baseball program that he was on. He's one of those guys. He's kind of like Peter Gammons. Just when he speaks, like you want to listen to him. Just again, very intelligent, very insightful. Knows the game inside and out. Knows the intricacies and all that. So he was at a podcast, and he like the subject of Julio Rodriguez came up, and Steve said just his take as a GM, like what he fears is that Julio Rodriguez, who was once considered a superstar, um, is he a superstar? Is he with all the five tools, or is he a streaky player who has the tools? So that's kind of what they brought up, and then he kind of forwarded this question out here: is do we, as fans and as talent evaluators and what have you, do we build up players so much and with the expectation gene that when they fall short, it's like we feel like we were cheated, but it's like we're the ones who created the expectation in the first place. It's kind of an interesting thought. I mean, this guy is 24 years old. He is not even entered the prime of his career. The first 2 years of his career were unbelievable. He was an all-star both years. He was a rookie of the year the first year. He won the Silver Slugger both years. Played Gold Glove caliber defense. Did all the things in the right moments, the big moments. And then last year he kind of fell off. And then this year you're kind of seeing the streaky stuff, and it's like he just has all the tools, but it's like, is he your in the podcast, he said, "Is he your battleship in the middle of the order?" Which I thought was very interesting. And it's almost like the Mariners as an organization, and even Julio as a player, they need to figure out. He needs to figure out who he is, and they need to figure out what he is. Like
Yeah.
maybe he's just going to be a guy who is really, really good at setting the table, and then he has to focus on that. Like have him be a guy who hits leadoff one or two for you, even though your two hitter is supposed to be your best hitter. But have him hit leadoff for you. He's got to probably draw a few more walks, but he's really fast. He can score. He knows how to score runs. He runs the bases well.
Can't hit your
But
leadoff
I don't know.
if you're
It was,
hitting below 200 though. I mean, that's
but
tough
he doesn't hit below 200. Like he's hitting below 200 right
right
now.
now. Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people are hitting below 200 right now. And I'm just gonna pull up. I'm gonna look up his stats again, at least from last year, because last year was the thing that people were concerned about. All right. All right. So last year, so he's hitting 207 right now, and his OPS is just below 700. But last year he had he hit 273, 734 OPS. He had a 4.43 WAR, 20 bombs, 68 RBIs, 17 doubles, 76 runs scored, 155 hits, played 143 games. I mean, this isn't bad stuff. Like none of it's bad
No,
stuff. Even
but
like he's
it's
not much further. Like the year
yeah.
before that,
Did
he had
they
37 doubles, 32 homers, 103 RBIs. Like
did they sign him to a big contract though?
I'm not sure. I'm
Okay.
not going to say yes or no because
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, part of it
Um,
is, I mean, and I'll relate this to another player like Corbin Carroll last year. Really struggled. And they rookie year, they signed him to a big contract. Big for a rookie, right? Like $100 million
yeah,
for a rookie is a lot of money. And then last year he comes out ice cold.
yeah,
And then we go, oh, especially as fans or evaluators, you go, oh, did we read this wrong?
yeah,
You're crying for, I was talking about the broadcast with PCA, like, they're crying for a contract for him. Like, hey, pay the man, pay the man, pay the man. Well, you know what? I don't blame organizations for wanting to wait out that rookie contract a little
yeah.
longer, make sure you're getting what you're getting, with these guys. Now, Corbin Carroll this year has been much better.
Right.
But a guy
He
like
made
Julio,
he made a mechanical adjustment in
sure,
his swing. Like we know the
sure,
guy has a star pedigree.
right.
Like here's the thing, not to cut you off, but like so you just mentioned Corbin Carroll. Like Julio Rodriguez, is he in the same class as Corbin Carroll, Bobby Witt, Fernando Tatis,
Yeah,
Ellie De La Cruz? Like these are all guys who are Vladimir. I'll even put Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in that spot as well. Is Julio Rodriguez in the same category with these guys? You would think so. If someone said Julio Rodriguez, you're like, oh, superstar. Like that's what you would think. But it's like, is he that guy? Is
yeah.
he a superstar or is he just really good?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's guy like he's gonna stick around because he's plus defense, right? He's
Yeah.
gonna stick around because he has big power capability. However, it's this is kind of 2 years in a row now where it's showing like, hey, maybe he's not as productive as you want from a superstar. And so
Right.
maybe he is that guy. Maybe he's closer to a Adam Jones type
Right.
player instead where he can be a piece of an organization but not the face of a franchise. I mean they trotted him out there to be the face of the All-Star game a couple of years ago when the guy shouldn't even have been at the All-Star game. Like he was hitting
Right.
226 with like 14 homers and they go he's in the home run derby and he's the face of the All-Star game. It's like, yeah, but he's
Who is
not
that?
even a
Julio?
good. That was
Are you talking
Julio.
about? Are you talking about last year? Julio had a really good second season. Like his first 2 years were really good. It's just
When
last year that
when they
wasn't that
put him
good.
out for
But he
the
still,
All-Star
but
game,
he
he
still, but
was
he
not
still hit. Right, he still hit 273 last year, so it's not like he's bad. But he drove in
no.
100 runs. He hit
I
32 bombs
I
the second
understand.
year.
No, I understand, but first half though, he was not an
Right.
all-star. He didn't
No.
he didn't belong to be in the all-star game, and they kind of dragged him out there like, well, he had a great rookie year, so like he's the face of the franchise, and it's
Right.
like, well, that's a lot to put on him. And they said that
Right.
this is a lot to put on a young kid, especially for a franchise that hasn't won in forever.
Right.
if ever. And 01 was, their best year. They're still hanging on to that. Like, they haven't made the playoffs since then, right? Like,
Right.
it's a lot to put on a kid who, you're right, may not be the face of the franchise.
Right. And Adam Jones is a really good comparison.
Yeah,
And Adam Jones had a really solid major league
he did.
career. He was like a 5-time All-Star. He was like a 3 or 4-time Gold Glover. Like he was on really successful teams, but he had a good team around him. Like as well. I mean, Nick Markakis was over there. They had good players on
Yeah,
those Oriole
Machado
teams.
and yeah,
Machado, yeah, they were solid.
J.J.
But I think,
Hardy. Yeah,
yeah, right. But I think that's a really Adam Jones is a good comparison. But yeah,
hmm
Adam Jones was not really the battleship in the middle of the lineup. I
right.
mean, he hit probably 3 or 4, but I don't know. That's a pretty good comparison.
There's
But the thing is, you need to get more guys. Like you need to
yeah,
get more players. Cal Raleigh is your cornerstone catcher. He will probably be in that uniform until he retires. JP Crawford is a very good shortstop, but like you
yeah,
need more. You need to attract more stars, and maybe that will bring the best out of Julio. Maybe you need to bring in. I'm not going to say Kyle Tucker because I wanted to say it with the Cubs, but you need to bring in a star like Kyle Tucker,
yeah.
and then maybe you'll get the best out of Julio. It'll unlock this thing in him.
Baseball is too much of a team sport to put it solely on one guy,
Right.
and yeah, he needs a little bit of help. This isn't LeBron and the Lakers, right? This isn't, where one guy can really change the whole dynamic. No, you need, if you think, and that may just be the thing with like Seattle, like maybe they're a one superstar kind of team or
Mm-hmm.
plus player kind of team. You need multiple of those guys. If you're serious about winning, you need more and more and more. So yeah, I don't want Kyle Tucker to go there. I don't think that would be a good fit for him.
No,
Seattle's no.
but I'm just saying, like a star. You need
Yeah.
another star to come
Yep.
in and kind of take some pressure off Julio because I
Yep.
feel like, yeah, you're right on saying that that's kind of what they expected from him.
Yeah.
They trotted him out the All Star games in Seattle. He's the face of the team, and it's almost like you're the new guy and you're taking over for Felix Hernandez. Like this guy has been
Yeah.
the face of the franchise for over a decade, and like you're the next guy. You're 20. He was 20. I think he was 19 years old when he came up,
Yeah.
or 20 years old. I think this is his fifth season, fourth or fifth season,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's 20 years old. He was drafted as an international free agent at 16. So like he has been with this organization since he was a teenager. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's even
I
like
like the guy. I
yeah.
really like him a
No, yeah,
lot.
it's not
He's a fantastic player.
yeah. I would take him, but again, not as the guy. Like I wouldn't lure him with, hundreds of millions of dollars. I would take him on a roster, but yeah, it goes back to I mean, like the Javi Baez thing. Like you sign a guy to be the catalyst and all of a sudden he's not it. And now what do you do?
Right.
You're trying to fill a roster around a guy that maybe you know, isn't the guy. It's just yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah.
Um, one other note. Well, I guess this is a similar situation with the Twins. It's been really nice to see a healthy Byron Buxton
Oh yeah.
playing the outfield, not just a DH. Um, but that's another guy who also had a lot of expectations. But my
Yeah.
note is more on his amazing catch he had versus the White Sox to end the game.
Hmm.
We've seen a couple now defensive plays to end games, which is really cool. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm hoping he can stay healthy, not just because I
Hmm.
just traded for him, but because I genuinely like Byron Buxton. But we also just, I mean, it's similar to Mike Trout. Like, we've just kind of been robbed of, like, the prime of his career. But when he's healthy, he is one of the most electric center fielders.
Oh
He's
man.
stealing bases, he's got some power, all those things. It's been nice to see, at least for a month, what Byron Buxton can be. And I just hope
Yeah.
he has continued health and stays on the field. The
Yeah.
Twins can be, a team, but they need some help too. They're
They
another one
do.
of those that need more than just him.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. I One other guy I want to bring up. On the last segment or a couple segments ago, we were kind of like, okay, is there like a pitcher or a hitter that is not really catching you off guard, but like who are you enjoying watching right now? Who's kind of surprising you a little bit? Do you have anybody aside from Buxton that you're enjoying watching right now, or who's kind of impressing you?
Um, I mean, I've been watching a lot of Cubs
A
baseball,
lot of Cubs.
but I mean, do you have one? And then maybe I'll think for a second.
Yeah, yeah. It's been really fun to watch Jacob Wilson. Um,
Okay.
he. I mean, there was
Yeah,
so
Little
they're
League
talking
guys.
about him. Obviously, son of a major league player, guy we really enjoyed watching, Jack Wilson. A few years ago, we were like, why did Oakland take, like, who is this guy who, like they took him in the first round? And it's like, oh, it's Jack Wilson's kid, and he's already up. And I mean, his hit tool is just off the charts. Like, the guy just makes contact, and he's hitting like about 330 right now. I think he's at like 325. He's driving the ball, he's hitting the ball, making solid contact. They're about 500 as a team too, so they're playing pretty well. Um, but there was an interesting stat the other day. I think it might have been like earlier this week or late last week, but he walked for the first time
Yeah.
this season. First walk, and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
well, he just likes to hit the ball, and I mean, the guy doesn't strike out either. Like, he on the season, he has 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Like, he does not strike out. Like, he's a hitter, great back control, knows how to make contact. It's just been an interesting phenomena, but it's been cool to follow him and cool to see him doing well, and cool to see the Athletics playing well. I like a lot of their players too. But yeah, Jacob Wilson has been a fun one to watch.
There is one that kind of came to my mind. But yeah, I agree. Jacob Wilson is the story's great, the pedigree's great. Yeah, it's always funny to see a guy whose batting average is higher than their on base percentage because they haven't walked
Yep.
yet. Um,
Yeah.
Reminds you of Starlin Castro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jackson Churio had that going on for a couple of weeks this year as well. The one guy I've noticed, and not because I like the Dodgers, but because they've been on TV a lot, the Cubs have been playing them a lot. The best hitter on the Dodgers right now
Teo.
is, yeah, is not named Freddie Freeman, is not Mookie Betts, is not Shohei Ohtani. It is Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
He is driving in the runs, man, and
Hmm.
like, I feel like every time he's at the plate, he's just in the right spot. So he's been the guy that he killed. I mean, he's killing it versus the Cubs, but he's killing it versus other teams. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just funny to see. You can pay $1.3 billion to your first 3 hitters, and it's the guy that you kind of had an afterthought about. That's your
Right.
best hitter. Because here's the thing, like Shohei, the reason why people pitch to him is because the strikeout's still there. He's got a big swing. You can make him look really silly on some swings. Paul Skeens was pitching against him the other night. I was watching
Yeah.
that.
That was fun.
He was sick, getting a lot of swing and miss. But Teoscar Hernandez takes a really good swing at every ball. And he doesn't
Hmm.
get fooled very often. It's almost, I mean, Cubs playing the Pirates, Andrew McCutchen, like, he's swinging the bat well. But it's
Hmm.
just that comfortability in the box. Tucker does the same thing. You just don't see him take too many bad swings. So that's a guy I bet you Toronto would like to have back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Because he was really good
yeah,
for them.
yeah.
And he's been really good for the Dodgers.
Yes, he has been their
Yeah.
best hitter. I don't
He,
care what the numbers say. If his batting average isn't there, he has been their best hitter so far
it
this year.
is. He's hitting 310,
Yeah,
and he's driven in like 32 runs. He's been very
yeah.
good.
See, I didn't
Um,
even know the numbers, but you can tell when a guy when he's doing it. You can
yeah.
feel it.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. 100%.
Yep. Well, a lot of good baseball so far this first part of the season, and it's not just because the Cubs are playing well, but that helps a tremendous amount. Again, when your team's in it, it's just more enjoyable. And when you have more to
Yeah, for
watch, then
sure.
just the spirit of baseball makes it more enjoyable. So we
Yeah.
are here for that. We're here for all the
Hmm.
moves. Again, we will be at the Cubs Brewer game. I say it that way because that's what it is. It is the Cubs Brewer game at Wrigley North. We will be there on Sunday. So that'll be
Hmm.
the first Major League game of the year for me. Looking forward
Yeah.
to that. Got some good seats. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, until next time, we're just excited to be talking more about baseball, and we'll have even more to talk about. But yeah,
Hmm.
next time, who's coming pairs? Take it easy, guys.
Peace, y'all.